So the role of a man in marriage is headship. Someone say headship.
The head of the wife is her husband. The head of the husband is Jesus Christ. And the head of Jesus Christ is God.
Headship is not a title. Headship is not a position. Rather, headship is a responsibility. Hello everyone.
Hi everyone.
After a long time we are back. Well, it's been a busy schedule for us. We are pastors, but our wedding anniversary is coming again. I feel like we could give back to people by sharing some lessons we've learned, in our journey of love for the past 7 years as married couples.
Yes.
And then of course we were together before we married for 6 years. Yes. 3 months. 6 years, 3 months, 25 days.
Oh God. You got it right
so,
this time.
Adding it together, and that was 13 years. Wow. 13 years, just like yesterday. 13 years. I picked this innocent.
Over 13 years.
This innocent girl, Yeah, and it's all the story behind us now. All right. So today, for the next 7 weeks, we want to give you lessons we have learned in this 7 years of journey. All right. We are releasing today, this first edition today being her anniversary. I believe it's going to bless you. So watch out for this episode. This next 7 weeks, it's going to be back to back. And watch this channel. You can like, you can share, you can tell a friend to join us. We're going to be very practical and very sincere in our conversations. All right, so I'm going to say it the way it is.
It's fine.
All right, so you should say it the way it is. All right. So, okay, so what should be our first lesson?
How that we found out that investing in our friendship, being deliberate about it. I'm adding the word deliberate because friendship is almost spontaneous when people fall in love. What we call fall in love. Yeah. It's spontaneous, but if you want to have it in marriage and you want it to continue throughout your marriage, it's an intentional thing. You get to a stage that is no more automatic.
Yes.
Because life will start to withdraw from you. Children will come, they withdraw from you. Your job, you have goals in life. There are things you want to make money, you want to take care of your social responsibilities. So all those things draw from your emotional tank, which if you do not deliberately refill.
Yes.
And one of the ways to refill is that bond of friendship between you two. No matter how demanding life is for me.
Yes.
I understand that I have to be deliberate about keeping friendship with my husband. That bond has to be very intact.
Yes.
Because really that is where you draw from.
Yes.
That is yes, God is the hub of life. God is the core of our lives. But the same Bible tells us that the relationship between Christ and the church, He gave us marriage to exemplify that. So the way we can't do without Christ, that is the truth. That is the same way. Of course, it does not mean that we can't do without our spouses like Christ, but that He has given us that physical marriage to let us know.
You mean that spiritual marriage to let us know how the physical marriage runs?
Yes, He has given us. Okay, yes, He has given us the spiritual marriage of Christ and the church. Thank you. To let us know how this physical marriage between a man and his wife should run. So in the same way, you have to deliberately, fellowship with God, whether you feel like it or not. You have to pray the same way, whether you feel like it or not. The friendship between you and your husband has to be intact. Things will come. Sure. Things will come even before baby starts coming. Yes. I mean, for the first, let's say, 6 months, you're still in the season of euphoria, the honeymoon season. You want to be everywhere together, and all those. You feel like, so of course you go back to work, but there are still butterflies all over. In your bellies, in your kitchen, your bedroom, your everywhere, in your head. Butterflies are everywhere. But after a while, you must create a habitat for the butterflies to live in. Else they will escape through the window.
It's very true, love is like a battery that you charge and charge full. Most of us, when we get a new phone, we get a new phone with a good battery. And even at that, they told us to charge our battery for hours for use. But some of us, we just start using it. And then after maybe 1 or 2 weeks, we start complaining that our battery is low. That's the same thing with love. When you marry, you seem to marry with a full battery. Why? You marry with so much expectation. Let me tell you one of the expectations: sex every day. I think that should be one of our lessons, actually.
Yes.
Sex every day. Be like, we're gonna have sex every day, my wife and I.
Every day of
you
your
are
marriage.
the woman. You're thinking I will just be appearing in bikini to my husband every day and things like that. And you discover all these expectations that you have every day. All the expectation that you have in 3 to 6 months, they just disappear. I feel like just like that. What happened to us? See, the thing is, you see, like I said, love is like a battery. Everything in your life draws from that battery. Your job, how you were treated, the deadlines you have to meet, house rent.
Yes,
house rent,
projects,
kind of project, deadlines at work, betrayals from other relationships. Everything drains you. That some of you might be running masters, PhD, all kinds of projects. Everything draws from that energy, because when you talk about emotion, exactly. To your family, to your parents, to your siblings, what happens to them, how they are going through life, how things have not been easy for some of them, and things like that. Everything comes back to you as a person, and you'll be expecting as, okay, all right, I'll go back home and my wife will just cuddle me, or my husband will just cuddle me. But you are going back home to meet a person whose tank also has been drained outside. So it appears like you're waiting for who is the first person to cuddle, who is the person to and things like that. And then that lingers on like forever, and before you know it becomes stranger to each other. Somebody was talking to me today, and this person said, I haven't spent almost 15 years together with my husband. Can you imagine? My husband is telling me we are not friends. And I just laughed. I told her what that man meant. It simply means that they are tank of love, all right, that created that bondage, bondage go from
not bondage. Marriage is bonding. That's the message title.
All right, so that bonding that both share together, that wanting to be around each other, all right, that tank has been drained, and you will have to charge it deliberately. I tell you must make up your mind. I'm going to charge this up. So we notice, all right, and you see, the most spiritual person may fall victim of this. It doesn't mean you stop loving each other, and that's the phase that many people, if they don't deal with, welcome infidelity. Actually, all right, this is the phase before, all right, infidelity. The phase where you are no longer fond of each other. You are no longer excited to be the wife, to be the husband. Especially when children begins to come, So let me share a practical example, and I would probably ask her to share one. So there was a season we're building our church here in Ado-Ekiti, where we are based at the moment in Nigeria. And we had a challenge. What happened was we're using a rented structure, and we're given a deadline to leave that place. I think 3 months or 6 months, I don't know. So we got a land. The journey of getting the land is not very funny. We got a land, we were duped. We had to get another land so we can meet up. We shall thank God we got a new land. Now we're about to build. We're building. We got to a place, we need to change the kind of roofing. We shall did the iron steel. In doing the iron steel, the roof collapsed. All right. We have to start from, doing the restructuring again, because there were things we're ignorant about. It wasn't like we actually wanted to do. We just wanted to do a small temporary building, all right, where we'll be having service. But then the thing turned out to be something we have to really do for real. And then we didn't plan like we should. Now, I was going through a lot of that. My wife was, a nursing mother at that stage. So it's not that she was on the front line experiencing those things with me. She had to stay at home with the children. So I was going through a lot of that, and then we need to buy this, we must do this now, knowing that the time is ticking, I see ticking now, what do you call it now? All right, and it's going
We are
by,
going to be
and we are going to be evicted, and we
by
have
force
a deadline
if we did
force.
not leave.
And instead of going to pay so much on a venue, it's better you spend all you have on this and all of that. And that was going on. The burden of a leader, the burden of the church, the church is almost looking unstable because you have to move from one place to the other, was there. And then here we have, I want to go back home expecting that my wife will just hold me, Pele, how you doing? And all that. Then I will meet a wife who has been dealing with baby, right? From this one, the younger one, the older one rather, is running from turning the whole house upside down. All right, I remember there was one day like that. I don't know which one of them. Okay, my wife was heavily pregnant at that time.
Pregnant, 8 months.
And 8 months, and then my first son pulled on himself, and he pulled everywhere. It's not, I can't explain it. The way he decorated chairs, carpets, everywhere with poo. I mean, when she saw that, she could even, and this is a lesson. Let me say something to you. Motherhood, in terms of raising children from babyhood, all right, to adulthood, or to even to, what do you call it now? Adolescence or whatever, is a lot of work. Some of you have women who are at home nursing their children. I feel like, what have you been doing since morning? Me, I'm going to work. I was like that actually. I have to be said.
It's a full-time job.
I'll be telling my wife, what have you been doing now? Actually, you're just at home. Me, I've been working.
Emotionally drained.
I really didn't understand until I had some experience.
Demanding that you must not speak a foul language.
To your children.
You must not say something
stable,
naughty.
psychologically
You must only
stable.
speak God's word, no matter how angry you are.
Straight, I tell you. So come back, I'm expecting my wife to cuddle me. She's also expecting to cuddle me. So it'd be like, this man is wicked. I've gone out all this way. She doesn't even know that what I faced, and she's also thinking this man is wicked. That's just an example. Imagine you are in a family where you're trying to meet a bill, and the young days of a couple. That's why some people believe that if you can endure the first 5 years of your marriage, you probably could make it through. Because that stage, you are at the time you are trying to find establishment, you're trying to have footing, all right, children, you're trying to take care of children, having children actually, then you're starting school, you're going to expand your purse, you need a bigger accommodation, sometimes you're still trying to learn one business or they're taking one course so that you can make more money. It's in that stage, and I tell you, that is a lot of emotional draining right there. All right, from both of you. All right, and this woman who is left at home or whatever she's doing, all right, is expecting to be cuddled, and the man also needs to be cuddled. Let me just say this: women, don't think that we don't even need some hug and kiss. I say, man, you're my champion. You're doing well. All right. Sometimes we don't need to say so we don't appear like we are vulnerable, but actually, an average man also feels like a baby at times. I tell you, but you might not just want to show. You want to have it under control. Okay. So I believe that if you are not deliberate, and we have to talk about how to be deliberate actually. If you are not deliberate, and let me say this, sex does not replace what we are talking about. You can be having sex and still there is no total friendship. Dryness. All right, I tell you, and that's why some husbands, they don't know why their wives have become indifferent when it comes to sex. It's because, all right, and you have wondered, this is what you have always been looking forward to. All right, I want to marry. Don't worry. It's because, all right, the energy that drives that intention is dead and need to be refueled. So we have to be dead. So my wife and I, it took us time to actually discover. All right,
to discover what the problem was.
So we now discover that while we were courting, this love thing that we had for ourselves didn't just appear from the moon. All right, we eat out, we do some things together, we walk, we talk, we gist and things like that, and now, all right, we are just facing life. And this stage actually can begin from the moment your wife is pregnant, I tell you, because everything just changed, hormonal changes and things like that. So we sat down and we were deliberate. All right, of course, sometimes we're busy, all right, so we always have a different spice to making it work. So there was a season we eat out maybe every Saturday. All right, just from a couple of times. All right, but that's not what we do right now. All right, it's coded. Won't tell you. Go and look for your ones. I don't copy us. Okay, you can copy actually. There's nothing bad about copy, but we won't tell you. All right, so go and find out yourself. All right, so you must come up skillfully. All right, with the idea of refueling. All right, those things that sponsored your friendship,
when you were courting,
the quality time. All right, and I remember one of the lessons my wife wanted us to share is about taking advantage of the little time we have together. Truthfully, you may not have that quality time where you just from morning to evening, except maybe both of you are at leave. You took it, and that's something I also want to encourage. Couples should learn to take leave together
at the same time.
When you're on leave, your spouse is on leave, so that leave can be well enjoyed. All right, you can now split your leave, or have a leave in a year that you do together. You can split it into two, maybe but have a particular season where you leave us together, you go out together, hit out, you watch movie, you pray together, you do a lot of fun, you have sex or whatever that you need to do. You have to do that. So, all right, our lessons, all right, for us is to let you know that a season comes in your life when love is no longer spontaneous, but a deliberate act. All right, you must invest deliberately. Sometimes I talk to some of my sons at the mission. I say, okay, that one night of sleeping together in an hotel, okay, that you're just paying, is a great investment. It's not a luxury. It's a great investment, probably in your marriage.
Yes.
I learned from my mentor and told us that sometimes he'll just carry his wife out to go and eat shawarma. He said, and because he loves shawarma. But I don't feel like she should understand. Okay, and that's another thing. Because we also at that stage where we couldn't even afford some luxury at that time. So money was not there to even
there was no money
to afford some luxury. And everything was just crashing. But we thank God, mercy came for us. All right. So, but this is the lesson. Make up your mind that this marriage would work. I think Reverend Kingsley said something sweet that if he was saying, talking to his wife, that listen, they both give themselves a perspective to marriage when they were married. That imagine we are both in a room and there's no window and a door, and the fire start up. What will you do? He said the only option is to kill the fire. Wow. So when you marry, throw away the key outside the marriage away.
No window out.
Every fire must be killed, must be extinguished.
It
must die. That's the approach. We must always look for them. If it to make us sit with our pastors to hear what they know that can help us, to take us to find it must be fixed. And listen, it can be fixed. That's a good thing. It can. So far, the foundation of your choices were right. All right, then it can be fixed. Yes. Would you like to say something before we close?
Yes, before we close. You're sounding like we're doing Bible study.
Oh, sorry. Right. Okay, before we close.
Okay, so like you said, basically because my mind is just running, looking back at those days. We're saying it and we are smiling. It was not funny. It was not funny. I mean that, in my mind I'll be thinking, this one is not even thinking about me. Especially when he says those words, I've gone out, I've gone to work. So it sounds like, okay, me, I'm at home. Am I playing at home? And if you've nursed the baby before, especially if you're a woman, you've nursed, even if it's not your baby, maybe your sister's baby, but for me, I think it's more demanding when it's your baby, because there's a way babies behave when they are with their mothers. It's like they comport themselves when they are with sisters or aunties, but when it's their mom, Jesus is Lord. They just they lose their guard. They just it's almost like sometimes I used to feel bad that my husband will come back in the evening and say, what have you been? And I say, I'm taking care. Like sometimes I feel like, is it reasonable? But I have to agree and accept the fact that, see, this thing is work. It's a noble work, and this is the season that I am now. And all that.
Afford to do that.
So, and that
I remember
that really helped.
I remember one of the things that,
like that.
Yes, I remember one of the things that really got me thinking. That okay, you want me to do some other things? Okay, go and get a crutch. Let's put this baby. Then my mind thought, okay, so some people have been paid to do this job. So that means taking care of a baby is a real job that will.
Yes.
And then once you start thinking that way, that this woman is actually saving you money.
Actually.
Because somebody else can do the job.
Those are the things I thought
you pay them.
That's my own quarter of
supporting
my husband. Let me stay at home.
And Sincerely, the idea of having a crèche was a zero, is a bad idea. Because the little money we have, we couldn't even be pouring into crèche.
We couldn't even think of a crèche.
No. They said no.
But staying at home, you could save. You save money. You save time. You take care of the baby.
Yes,
you know, you take care of the baby well in hygienic condition. You know that the resources you have at hand, there's a way you will use it, and you know that okay, this resource, maybe you've planned for the next 5 days I will use these diapers. But going to a crèche, you know, they don't plan that with you.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. They don't know your pocket. They don't know what you have. They just want to do it the way they.
So whether the food is wasted or the baby, there's a way I can know that if I give this baby this food, he will waste it, and I give the baby just what. But in a crèche, they can just pour, waste the food, or they make a food and the food is already getting spoiled. They give the baby starts to purge. No, all those things, it will have cost us money in hospital, and those are the things that staying at home helped us to, you know, cut off.
Yes.
So those were the values I brought to the table, and I expected him to see it in that light, but it was saying, "What are you doing?" And so those words were hurting me, but thank God he eventually saw it.
Yes, and I did. I got the message.
He got the
Dear
message.
Man, get the message now.
Yes. But God was involved though.
Yes.
That's the major part.
Yes.
I prayed, and all that. So that's why he was saying that the foundation of the marriage has to be solid.
Yes.
One solid foundation. In fact, the solid foundation, it has to be built on Christ. So that when you pray, and you know that the man can hear God, you have told God, Lord, this thing is paining me. Talk to this man or talk to this woman to adjust and all that. You know that you are married to somebody that can listen to God. Not that you be crying alone, and when you're crying, you just cry. Nothing is changing because the man cannot hear God or the woman cannot hear God. You understand? It's
And maybe I just want to drop this last thought. Please, we are to be responsible parents, but not at the expense of being irresponsible spouses. It's very, very key.
The spouse comes first.
And yes, because you see, one of the things that liberated me was the fact that I understand that children are the fruit of your marriage. And look at every tree around you. No fruit abides on the tree forever. It is seasonal.
Yes.
So, you know, you see, find some couples, some parents rather, who have been married for so long. The conversation you'll be having with husband and wife, they're having with their children. Why? Because all throughout the years, they allow the children to sap the energy and all of that. And then they've lost each other. So the only thing that bond them together was the children. So here you see the mother is calling the child in UK and say, come and talk to your dad. You are in the same house. You say, come and talk to your dad.
My dad that is right beside you. So you are calling me in UK to come and talk to him.
You know, so don't let us fall victim. Let's learn from this and you know, secure ourselves from this, you know, lesson. So the bottom line, the first lesson is you've got to be deliberate about your friendship, about your love, about everything that makes marriage work. You've got to be deliberate. It sometimes may even sound as if you are being mechanical. But you see, just like you build an habit by continuous practice, all right, the moment you make the act of being deliberate about that area of your marriage that you want to grow, then the better it becomes. Then it becomes consistently part of you.
You start to enjoy
and then you start to enjoy.
And the times where you need to make sacrifice, you already have a place where you are drawing from.
Actually, that's it. Because the thing is, at the best of it, you still have to make sacrifice. But you know, it should be sacrifice you think there is hope of enjoyment coming.
Yes.
So that's when
there's still hope that there's a
payback. There's a payback. You know,
I'm expecting enjoyment.
This is a loan. It will come back with interest.
ROI.
So,
but when there's no hope of interest, and you're just, that's the frustrating part.
So that's it. I hope you got something. Yeah.
They did.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. God bless you.
Share it with your friends.
That's true. Share with your friends. Share it with everybody. Like, share, comment, you know.
And subscribe.
Subscribe.
If you have not done so.
Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. God bless you.
Bye.